Be nonchalant, man. Seriously. Acting nonchalant will get you far further in life than falling into the chaos of emotional roller coasters. Now, this isn't to say that you shouldn't feel your emotions. Part of being a sovereign man is being able to feel emotion, recognizing what's happening underneath the surface, but then making the conscious choice. I'm not giving in. I'm not taking that path which sends you further into a spiral, but rather making the choice to pivot your way out of that and using tools that you have to get yourself into a more preferable state of being. And this is something that I've been reflecting a lot on over the last couple months. It's been what, almost two months now since things took a very, very sharp left turn, and I've felt a whole array of emotions. I've worked through a lot. In my solitude, I have taken time to really refine the way in which I want to show up as a man. And that's what it ultimately comes down to. It's all to do with how you show up as an individual and how you choose to conduct yourself. Because at the end of the day, your internal perception is your external reflection. I think this is going to be a catchphrase of mine because it's true. It's absolutely true. I mean, if you look at the famous psychologists out there, Carl Jung says, until you make the unconscious conscious, you will be driven by it and you will call it fate. Now, that is a very, very powerful expression because it just shows us just how, when we are governed by our subconscious programming and the thoughts that run our day-to-day, just how they impact everything that happens in our reality, right? Our own internal compass points us in the direction of a path that we actively walk down in our conscious minds. And a big chunk of people don't even know that they are doing it. And so another part of it is to also identify and just be more aware, be mindful. And when the mindfulness practices can bring these things to the surface, act nonchalant. Because I've been studying a lot about affirmations, manifestation, and sorry, police car was speeding by with the sirens on. So I've been doing a lot of research, deep work, and understanding the law of attraction, vibration, manifestation, energy, how it all works, how it's all intertwined within our mind, our body, even the soul, the spirit, right? And understanding the quantum field, understanding how quantum energy works. And it's all to do with frequencies. It's all to do with vibrations. It's the way in which we think, which impacts our thought processes. Those thought processes then also evoke emotions, because when they are combined, it starts to work with the reticular activation system that works in I think the neural cortex of the brain. Don't quote me on that. I know it's somewhere in the brain. It's like right near the brainstem. But this essentially is what shapes our reality, right? Just think about this. If you, say for example, have been thinking about a song a lot and you continuously play it in your head, have you noticed how everywhere you go, you will hear that song? It might be in someone's car playing as they drive by, when you go to the mall, when you sit in a restaurant, even in adverts on TV. That's not coincidence. That's not, just fate, as it were. Well, it is fate, but it's not coincidental. It is part of your RAS, essentially programming you and directing you. It's the compass, right? That then switches the needle and shows you the path in which you are essentially favoring with your thoughts, and then that also then gets anchored with emotion. So it's that level of awareness that brings us to a point where we understand then the quality of our thoughts starts to send out a vibration. That vibration brings in more of that frequency, which essentially creates what we like to call the imagery or the subliminal messaging. And the emotion that is tied to that starts to create our own perceived reality. So something that I've recently been doing is I've actually been writing letters to my future self. I think about the type of man that I'm in the process of becoming, and I really feel into that. Every night I do between 5 to 10 minutes meditation, sometimes longer, and I really visualize the type of person that I want to be. I look at the physical frame, I look at the level of fitness, I look at the way in which he speaks, his mindset, his flow, his body language, vocal tonality. I look at even the smallest things like body fat percentage, muscle mass. All these things matter massively, because this is now essentially what we call the alchemy of the quantum realm. And when I feel into that space, I really feel this surge of energy that courses through my body. And what I've started to notice is everywhere I go, I am seeing the reflections. I'm seeing these elements being mirrored back at me. Another part of that is also when I think about my my love life and what kind of partner I would like to settle with, and I have an idea, and I'm starting to see the universe, the world in front of me, mirror that back at me. I'm seeing girls walking around with the same archetype, same sort of like body frame, their hair, the texture of hair, the quality, right? I'm seeing a lot more feminine women out and about. I was at the gym earlier and I noticed 3 girls who looked just like the archetype of female that I have been visualizing. And it's only until you try it that you will see the results for yourself. And so I really would like to say, try this. Really, put your mind to this. Be conscious of your thoughts. Become aware of how, what quality of thoughts you're having. Be aware of the quality of your breath. Be aware of the quality of your state as you have these thoughts. How do they affect you? How do they drive you? What kind of emotions do they evoke? And then scan the world around you. Think, not just think, but put intentional thought into the type of person you want to be, what kind of energy you want to exude, what kind of personality type you are and you want to be, because all these things can be changed. Everything can be shifted, but it takes intentional action. And the element of consistency comes from simply feeling into that state of being, right? You got to feel your way into the process. You can't think yourself out of a situation. You have to feel it. You have to embody it, right? Joe Dispenza talks about this, right? Neville Goddard talks about this. Alan Watts has spoken about this. All the famous philosophers and psychologists talk about this. Even if you go all the way back to ancient Rome, Marcus Aurelius, he would visualize his troops on the battlefield whenever he was commanding them in conflict. He would visualize his visions on how he wants to shape Rome, how he wanted to shape the empire. And he did it. He did it because he aligned his thoughts and his emotions to fall into that perfect harmonic resonance, as they say. So try that out for yourself. If you like this video, do leave a comment. Share this with somebody that is on the path or is about to have their own sense of awakening. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.